If you've been pro-life for more than 5 minutes, you know that the moment you open your mouth, there's about 1 million people, especially on social media, that are going to come after your every single word. So I decided to ask you guys to send me some of the recent DMs and comments that you have received, and I figured we could go through these together because sometimes the ridiculous arguments are not worth responding to, but today they are, so we're just going to roll through them. The first video we're going to respond to is from a TikTok video. And the girl says, "Do you know that we are all clumps of cells?" And somebody responds, "Ma'am, we are not. We have muscles, bones, skin, tissue. We've got a brain, but obviously you don't." First of all, I don't know what their need is to add insults into every argument that they have. I don't think that they are capable of making a point without attacking the person that they're talking to. But second of all, a preborn child also has all of these things. They have muscles, they have bones, they have skin, they have tissue, and they have brains. And so if that's your standard of what makes a human, then you're pro-life. Welcome to the club. Next one. This girl says, "A fetus might be a baby, but it is not, and I repeat, not, a developed human or baby." It might be a baby, but it's definitely not a baby. We know that. It makes sense. It really makes sense. She then goes on to say, "It's not a baby. If it was a real baby, then it would be wrong. Abortion would be wrong." And the girl responds, "What do you mean by real baby?" And she goes, "An alive baby, a child, not a fetus." They love the word fetus. I don't know if they really understand what it means. It's really just a stage of development. It would be like telling a little kid, "You're not a person, you're a toddler." Okay, yeah, but those aren't mutually exclusive. You can be a fetus and still be human. You know, that's why we're pro-life is, yeah, it's a fetus, but it's a human fetus, which means it is a human life, which means it is wrong to kill. They have a hard time understanding that. Next one. This person says, "By definition, a fetus is considered a human life at around 16 weeks. I love how they say by definition, doesn't quote anything, and then also use the word around. You know, by definition, it's kind of somewhere in this area. We don't know, but that is the definition. Before that, it is of the same moral and scientific relation as cutting down a tree or picking a wildflower. Not really. Not really. The difference is a tree doesn't have human DNA. A tree can't feel pain. A tree will not grow up to be an adult. A tree is not a human being. And that is why we have a moral difference between killing, you know, they're both living. I'll give you that. A tree and a human being, not the same thing. Not the same thing. I know it's so crazy to even grasp that. But the reason we are anti-abortion is not because we are against killing any living thing, right? I will gladly smack a mosquito off my arm if it is trying to bite me. But I don't have a moral dilemma with that because it's not a human being. We don't kill human beings. And that's why we're pro-life. The next girl says, "Yay, let's force people into unwanted pregnancies and force babies into addict/incest/unprepared/unloving/unsupportive families. Definitely something to celebrate." Here's the thing. None of these things are what make you a human being. There's going to be a lot of times in every single person's life that maybe they feel unprepared or unloved, or maybe they are unloved, but that's not what determines whether or not somebody has human value. Whether or not they are loved does not give them the right to exist or be alive. That's not how we determine who is worthy and who isn't. And it's actually an incredibly offensive thing to say, "Oh, anyone who's unloved, you don't deserve to be here." Oh, if your parents are unprepared, you don't deserve to be here. If you grew up in abusive situations, you don't deserve to be here. That's the argument of the pro-choice side, and it is incredibly offensive to anyone who has ever gone through a difficult period in their life. That is not what determines human value. What determines human value is if you are a human being. Then you are worthy, then you are loved, you are cherished, you are valuable, and your life has a purpose. That's why we're pro-life, is because we don't pick and choose who gets to live and who gets to die. All human life is valuable. Next, one person says it doesn't kill a child. Extremely late abortions, I can understand that point of view more so, but early midterm abortions do not kill children. Here's the problem. They use these language like midterm or late term, but they never can draw a line anywhere. I guarantee you, if you ask this person, okay, you're against late term abortions. At what point? Give me the exact week when it would be wrong. I guarantee you they would have a hard time pinpointing that. And if you ask them, what's the difference between that week and a day before that week? They can't tell you because they don't really know what the difference is. Maybe it looks a little more like a baby, but the DNA has been there since conception, and they're unable to even wrap their head around that. It is a human being from the moment of conception, and the only difference between a child who is this tiny and a child who is fully viable and ready to come out of the womb is their size, is their level of development. But again, that's not what makes you a human being. How big you are does not make you a human being. It is your DNA. And science says that life begins at the moment of conception. That is undisputed. What is disputed is whether or not that human being has rights from that moment. And according to pro-abortion advocates, those humans don't deserve rights. And that's their whole argument. The next person says, do you really care about the life of a fetus without any nerves or consciousness more than the life of a living woman? You either are uneducated or pro-control with 2 L's. This one is ironic because they're calling you uneducated while also misspelling the next word in their sentence. That's all I'm going to say about that one. This is such a dumb take. LMAO. People care so much about the fetuses until they're born. LMAO. You don't care about the fetuses before or after they're born. And when pro-lifers try to support women and children after these babies are born, you find these organizations and you burn them down. These pregnancy resource centers exist to support mothers both during pregnancy and after, to provide resources, to provide care, to provide financial help, to give the baby formula and baby clothes, all of these things to help mothers and children and fathers and families succeed. You say, you know what? We still hate you and we're going to burn down those facilities. Those are the facilities that help women choose life and then also succeed after that decision. So I would be a little slower to tell people that they don't care about babies after they're born, because pro-lifers are actually the only ones who care about children before or after they're born. For this one, it looks like we're going to have to talk a little bit about basic biology. It seems like maybe they missed a lesson in health class. Here's what they said. And when you have your period and your eggs shed, does that mean you're killing those babies? Or when you drink alcohol? Here's the deal. Egg, not a human being. Sperm, not a human being. They unite at conception and create a unique human being that has never existed before and will never exist again. From that moment, a new life is created. From that moment, their genetic code has been created. The gender has been determined by that moment. It is a human life. The only thing it needs is little time, little nutrients, and a safe place to grow until it can be born into this world and live their life. That is when abortion is wrong. It is the same reason why having your period is not murder, because it's an egg. It's not a human being. It's a human being at conception when the egg and the sperm unite and a new life is created. So I think we've cleared that up. We can move on. Here's the last one we're going to go through. And I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just going to read the beginning sentence and their response. So it says, so you're adopting all the kids in foster homes? And the girl responds by saying, my mom has adopted a baby girl and I plan to adopt when I get older. And they respond with, I mean all the kids. No, all of them. Oh, 1, not enough. 2, not enough. 3, nope, not good enough. Nope, it's not good enough until you single-handedly adopt every single kid out of the foster care system. Then maybe you can be pro-life, but not until then. This is ridiculous, and it's never enough for them. They always need more. It's so funny. I'll be talking to people outside of Planned Parenthood when I'm standing there praying, and they come up and ask the same questions. Well, what are you going to do? And I say, well, actually, my family has adopted 5 children. But you didn't. Well, I legally am not allowed to adopt. So there's that. But also, when you share that, they don't actually care. They're using all of these examples. They're using children in the foster care as a tactic. They're using it to prove their point and their argument. They don't really care about these children, because if they did, they'd be adopting them. If they truly deep down cared about all the children that are suffering in this world, they would do something. But they don't. They just want to use these children as a way to support the murder of children in the womb. That's why they use these stories and these examples. And honestly, their greatest tactic is fear, is manipulation, is scaring people into not wanting to speak up by trying to silence them with weird messages and odd threats to get them to shut up. But our greatest tactic is truth. And we can't be silent because this is what the other side looks like. They're loud, they're aggressive, and misinformed. They use fear to try to keep you from speaking up because they know their position is impossible to defend. It's confusing, illogical, and false. So I hope these are a little motivation for you to keep going. We know we're on the right side. We know how to respond to these ridiculous arguments. So have the hard conversations. Post the graphic on your story. Go to the abortion facility to pray. Get involved with Students for Life. Start a pro-life ministry in your church. Know that you are on the right side, and remember, this movement needs your voice more now than ever.